Hi guys, welcome to this class. My name is Jess. Today we're going to be focusing on front splits. So we're going to focus on your low core engagements, your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your glutes, and conditioning all of these areas to make sure you have nice, strong, controlled, and beautiful splits. Just follow along as best you can. This is an open level class, so you can join whichever level you are. Just make sure that you mind your limits, you mind your body, and if you need to take a breather or grab some water when you need to. Feel free to pause whenever you need to, or to repeat exercises if you feel that they are beneficial to you and you need to spend a bit more time with them. For this class, we're going to need 2 yoga blocks. You're going to need a TheraBand or a yoga strap. You're going to need something that you can slide your foot with along the floor. I like to use an ankle weight, but you don't have to use that. If you don't have a slippery floor, you can use a foam roller for that section of the class. And you're also going to need a wall at some point. And of course, your mat. We're going to start with some low core engagement exercises, so just follow along as best you can and enjoy. All right, so we're going to sit down onto our mats. You're going to grab a yoga block and you're going to place that yoga block between your knees. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a pillow or anything else that you can squeeze between your legs at home. Then you're going to lie back. Make sure you control with your core. So you're going to pull your tummy into your spine. And if you find that you have a bit of an arch in your lower back or in your back at all, you just need to tilt your pelvis up towards your face. From here, we're going to lift our legs to 90 degrees and squeeze that block between our knees, flexing our feet, right? And there are 2 options here for levels. Squeezing that block, you can either stay down here and move from this position, or you can crunch up, lifting up with your upper abs to make it a little more advanced. We're doing 10 presses here, pressing our heels away and in while squeezing that block. And 9, good, and in. And we're going 8. Breathe and in. Every time you pull the legs back in, suck your belly button into your spine. Good, and 6, and draw in, and 5, and in. And you're only going as far as you can maintain a nice stable position with your spine. Good. 3 more. We go 3, and in. Controlling that core. Squeeze the block. Last 1, and in, and relax. Very good. Well done. Putting the block away, we're going to do one more exercise to make sure we're nice and strong in our core. Lying down, you're going to lift your legs up to the ceiling, pointing those toes, squeezing through your legs. Obviously, if you are a bit tight in your hamstrings, you just can bend those legs a little bit and make sure you are pulling the legs together, right? Either modification is perfectly fine. From here, you're going to suck your core in. You're going to hover your hands and you're going to reach forward to look between your inner thighs, right, using your abs to stay up here. Then you're going to shift those legs away from you and hold the lowest position that you can maintain without going into your back. Holding here for 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16, drawing your tummy in. 14, 13, 12. You've got it. 10, 9, breathe. 8, 7, 6, pull those abs in. 4, 3, 2, and relax. 1. Good, really nice. Lovely, guys. That concludes our core section. You're more than welcome to do more exercises to activate that low core, but otherwise we're going to move on to some release exercises. Really importantly for your splits, you need to make sure that your quads are nice and released, which they often hold a lot of tension, so you want to make sure that you have released them so your hip flexors can also release even deeper. For this exercise, you're going to need 2 blocks, and you're definitely going to need your wall. I'm going to use an extra mat to pad my foot against the wall behind me because my wall is particularly rough. If you have a rough wall at home, do the same. Or if your feet are not flexible enough, you can put a pillow or something underneath your foot to help it. Right, so going to our wall over here, I'm going to place this mat here in preparation. We're going to take 1 yoga block and place it right up against the wall. If you are especially tight, you can move this block slightly away, but I would recommend trying to work with it right there against the wall. Then you're going to take one of your knees up against the block with your foot up on the wall above it. An advanced progression is taking another block and placing it under your front foot. But if you're new to this exercise, I'd recommend doing it with a flat foot on the floor. So it's totally up to you how you want to progress, right? Placing that foot on the block or just forward in a lunge with your hands down. You're going to lift up and then you're going to push away with this front leg. So pushing back so that your glute goes towards your heel, ideally meeting your heel as best you can. It's really, really common here for the hips to tilt. You want to keep them nice and even, and it's also really common to release your tummy. So what you want to do is contract those abdominals in towards you, like you're trying to flatten your back against the wall as best as possible, right? Keep pushing away with this heel, keep tucking the pelvis so you're pushing into this hip flexor and this quad, and make sure you're drawing these abs in as best you can. The shoulders are also going back to the wall behind you as best you can, and you're contracting the whole time. I'd recommend staying here for a couple breaths, about 30 seconds. We're just going to breathe here. And with every exhale, we're going to try get a little deeper by squeezing that back glute or pushing away a little bit more. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. And inhale and exhale. Good. One more time. And breathing out. Lovely. You're going to bring your hands down to the floor to come out, remove that front leg, and then you're going to switch over to the other side, taking the other knee up onto the blocks, lunging forward with your other leg, and then if you want, progressing with your foot on a block in front of you. Like so, but no pressure if you don't want to do that progression. Then we're pushing up as best we can. If you find this especially hard to stay up in, you can hold onto something next to you, but if you are more advanced, then just do it freestanding. Push away with that front leg, drive the glutes back to the heel, tuck the pelvis, pull the abdominals in, pull the shoulders and the sternum back, make sure you're not arching, pull back here as best you can, and just breathe. Breathe into the muscles where they feel tight, inhale there, and when you exhale, think of releasing any tension that you're holding onto. Breathe in, and breathe out, squeeze that back glute, good, and inhale, and exhale, get a little bit deeper, push away with this front leg, tummy in, good, and exhale, and one more time, push, 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 tuck that pelvis, and exhale. Good. Awesome. Great. Bringing the hands down onto the floor to come out of it. All right. Well done, guys. That was great. We're going to progress a little bit with this exercise. So for the next step, you don't want to use an additional block. So you're going to put that to the side. You're just going to use the block that is already against the wall. We're going to take that first leg back up onto the block with the foot up, lunging forward just like we did before. This time you can have this front foot a little bit further forward. So just a few more centimeters so you have room to drive those hips down. Then you're going to lift up, right? Get back to your original position, tucking that pelvis, making sure you're active through the back glutes, extended through the front of your hip. And from here, you're going to drive that hip down to the floor, pushing away with your back foot into the wall, right? Make sure your tummy is pulling in too. It's very easy to release it here. And you want to watch this front knee. It's very common for this to fall out to the side because it feels easier, but you want to keep it in line with your belly button, not your hip, with your belly button, right? That's going to help you activate into your back glutes correctly. So keeping that lock, pushing down with your quad, pushing into the back wall for 10 seconds, holding 10, 9, and pushing that foot away, 8, and it's helping me activate through this glute. 6, 5, breathe, 4, sink, 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 3, good, 2, 1, and we come out. Very good. Hands down, switch legs, other side. All right, we take the other knee up and on, and we lunge forward with the other foot. Again, this foot is going to go a little bit further forward, right? Then we're pushing back. All right, from here, tucking the pelvis, find your original position, and when you drive down to the floor, hold onto this core engagement and hold onto the glute engagement that you get from tucking your pelvis. So I'm not releasing it at all. I want to hold onto the length that I've created in my quad, right? So I'm tucking, 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 holding, 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 holding. My core is pulled in. I'm watching this front knee is drawn into the line of my belly button. I'm pushing away with my back foot into the wall, and I'm just resting here as I press actively through my hip flexor. Breathe. 10, 9, 8, 7, sink, 6 through your quad. 5, 4, good. 3, 2, 1, and coming out. Hands come down to the floor, and you remove yourself from the position. Well done, good. Grab a sip of water if you need to. All right, okay, so we're gonna move on. We wanna do some nice glute activation and conditioning because the glutes are so important for pushing through your hip flexors. With regards to anything in flexibility, it's really important to understand that if you condition the oppositional muscles, they will be strong enough to push through the muscles that are opposing those. So when we try to get into our hip flexors, we want to make sure our glutes are nice and strong so we can drive forward into a deeper stretch there, which is why we need to do these glutes exercises. Okay, so you're going to need one block for the next one to modify for an easier version. And it goes just like this. You're going to tuck one leg's toes under, right? You're going to take your block and you're going to place it between your heel and your thigh, and you're going to sit back onto that. I'm just going to shift a little bit further forward, right? So I'm sitting onto that block. Then I'm going down onto my forearms like this, and I'm extending my back leg out behind me. It's very common here to bend your knee, but make sure you stay nice and active through your leg completely. Your tummy is drawn in to help you, and really you should just be using that glute and that hamstring to lift this leg. Follow along like this. We lift the leg for 10, and we lower. 9, lower. 8, good, point those toes. 7, nice, and 6, good, and 5, breathe, good, and 4, nice, and 3, good, 2, and last, 1, hold, 10, 9, 8, 7, squeeze the knee, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Very nice, good. Coming up and switching sides. Block between your heel and your glutes, extending back. Whoops, make sure that's nice and secure. Get onto your forearms, really stretch through that back leg, pull your tummy in slightly towards your spine, and we're gonna lift. 10, down, 9, down, good, 8, breathe, 7, nice, and 6, good, 5, and 4, nice, 3, stay with me, here we go, 2, and you're gonna hold it, 1 for 10, 9, squeeze the knee, 7, good, 6, 5, and 4, 3, 2, good guys, 1, and lower down, very nice, removing the block and sitting back, awesome, good work, all right. Conditioning is so important for progressing in flexibility, especially if you are starting flexibility as an adult. So stay with me while we do this next one. We're going to place 2 blocks in front of us stacked, but if you're at home, you can totally use a couch or a chair or something a little bit higher if you want to progress the exercise. We're going to stand up, and you want to stand in front of those blocks. This one is really good for your balance, and it's really good for just conditioning the muscles that we need to use for our front splits and our standing splits if we want. Right, so we're standing up, you're gonna just measure your distance and make sure that you can get your toes onto that block in front of you. If you feel it's too far, you can obviously step a bit closer or step a bit further away. Keep your hips nice and square, i.e. both hip bones facing forward, right? Your bottom foot can be slightly turned out, or it can just be parallel. This leg is going to be nice and straight, and so is the supporting leg. Here we just have our hands on our hips, you pull your tummy in, you tuck your pelvis, and you want to push that foot down into the block so you feel the activation into the back of the leg, right? So we do that for 10 seconds, pushing 10, 9, 8, 7, good, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we lift for 10. Doesn't have to be high, but your legs should be straight. 9, 8, 7, good, 6. So even if it's just coming off the blocks like this, 4, good, 3, and 2, and then you're going to hold it up, 1. Again, keeping it straight, even if it's low for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, squeezing the quad, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Good. Replacing the foot, going on to the other side. You're doing great. Again, tucking the pelvis before we start. Core is drawn in. Keep your body upright. Hands can be on your hips. I like to put my hand on my belly to make sure it's working, right? And we're going to push down with this foot. We push down 10, 9, 8, 7, good, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're going to lift, 10, 9, good, 8. Try not to use your body too much, 7, 6. Pull your core in, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold it up. 1, if you can't hold it high, a little bit lower is fine as long as your legs are nice and straight. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Good. Shake it out. Really nice. We're going to turn around and have the blocks behind us. If you find it too hard with your leg elevated behind you, then you can just do it with your foot on the floor. All right, so again, standing with the blocks behind you, extending one leg onto those blocks, and adjusting as you need to get that position. It's really common here to turn your hips out, but I want you to keep them square and facing forward. You need to extend into your back knee, and it's very easy to get into your back here, so you need to pull your core in. So pull your belly button into your spine to protect your lower back. From here, pushing that back foot down into the blocks like we did the other way for 10. 9, 8, 7, good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're going to lift, tiny little lifts of that leg, keeping the hips square, tummy in. Try not to move the body too far forward. We lift 10, 9, 8, 7, good. 6, tummy in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and you're going to hold for 10. 10, 9, 8, tummy in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower down, and switch legs. Awesome, we do the other side. Extending back, make sure your foot is nice and secure, and that you've got balance. Your hips are facing forward. Tummy pulls in, body up. We push down, the back knee is extended for 10. 9, 8, 7, good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're going to lift using the glutes. Here we go, tummy in, don't shift too much. We go 10, 9, bottom leg is straight. 8, 7, we're working stability. 6, 5, and targeted glute action. 3, good. 2, and you're going to hold. 1 for 10, 9, 8, 7, squeeze that back knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Release. Well done, guys. Good. Really, really nice. Okie dokie. Good. We're going to move those blocks to the side. Grab a sip of water if you need to, or just have a little breather. You did great. All right, for the next exercise, you need to make sure that your knee is nice and padded, especially if your floor is especially hard. Or if your knee is just really sensitive, it's totally fine to put something like a pillow or a double folded mat underneath your knee if you need to. Nice and simply, we're just going to go into a nice lunge. And what I want to just make sure that you all are doing is keeping the nice alignment of your front knee with the alignment of your belly button. It's very easy to forget about, so I'm going to point it out now facing forward so you can see what I mean, because it's probably going to feel a little bit weird, right, if you're not used to it. So when you are in your lunge and you go forward, it's very natural for your body to want to do this with your knee. But it doesn't help you and your activation, even though it feels like you can get deeper. You need to, like I said, not keep it just in line with your hip, but actually tilt that knee into the line of your belly button, right? It's really, really important. And keep it there. As you go through the exercise, you might start forgetting about it, and that knee might start drifting out to the side. That can be because you're not used to the muscle memory of that, or because your adductor is not strong enough yet. Just keep training yourself to keep that knee inward so the back glute activates correctly. You can even feel the difference if you go into a lunge and you let your leg flop out to the side. You can feel there's very little activation through the glute and your core, but if you pull this knee inward, you'll feel that back glute fires really nicely to push through your hip flexor. All right, so just remember that when you do these exercises. Okay, so kneeling, padding your knee if you need to. We're going to take one leg forward for your lunge. All right, before you even go forward, make sure your core is pulled in. Tuck the pelvis so this back glute activates and pushes through your hip flexor. Then we go forward. We drive forward to the ground and we hold it there, making sure this knee is in line with our belly button, pulling your core in and keeping your body up stacked above your hips, right? From here, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we have 2 slices of bread on either side of our hips. I'm going to lift our hips up and then imagine that we're sliding those 2 slices of bread down into a toaster, right? And we're pushing with that back glute to do so. Then we lift up again, watch this core is pulled in, and we press down. Good. Little lift out of the lunge, and then pressing down. Good. Let's do one more. We lift up, and we press down, and we hold here, activating through that back glute. Use your glutes to press down 5 times to the floor. We go 5, 4, 3, tummy in, 2, and 1. Hold for 10 seconds. You can lift your arms up, shoulders to ears, 9, 8, 7, 6. Hips are square, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you press out of it. Good. Relieving that hip for a moment. We're going to stretch into this front leg, straightening it, pulling this quad up so it's nice and active, also protecting your hamstring a bit, flexing that foot up, right? And you're going to take your hands down towards the floor. If you're not flexible enough, you can put your hands on blocks here, but I want you to check that you are not twisting your hips and that your back isn't rounding to get you lower. That doesn't really help you at all. So you want to keep your spine nice and long as you do this exercise. We're going to breathe in, and then you're going to breathe out and try and sink over this leg. Inhale, and exhale, sink. Breathing in, squeeze this quad the whole time. Exhale. And one last time. And breathing out. Hello, hamstring. Long spine. Good. Flattening the foot, lifting the body up. You can obviously stay there for a bit longer if you feel you need a little more tension in the back of that leg. Alrighty, so we're going to tuck again, and we're going to go into our lunge and check that everything is in alignment. Right? Tummy in. Now, from this position, you're going to lift that back leg up. This is where you probably need some padding. You're going to grab it, same hand as foot, and if you need to balance on something here, you can hold a yoga block next to you to help you not fall over. It's perfectly fine, right? Then, once you've grabbed the foot, you probably lifted your hip a little bit. I want you to sink it down to the floor, and then re-rotate your body to face as far forward as possible instead of twisting to the side, right? Keep the tummy in. Good, and then pull this foot in as close to you as you can. That's going to look different for everyone, so if you need your foot to be a little further away, or if this already feels like a lot for you, it's very normal. This will get better the more you do it. So just do the best you can in this moment, and if you are more advanced, you can arch and lift out of these abs to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. But the focus is on dropping this hip to the ground and this quad, right? So don't bring the foot closer to the detriment of your hip lifting up. Stay low. Breathe. Try sink while you hold. 10 more seconds here. It will have been 20 in total. 8, 7, 6, 5, good. 4, nice. 3, 2, 1, and coming out. Beautiful. And we repeat the whole thing on the other side for the other leg. All right, so I'm going to turn around so you can see this hip. Lunge forward with the leg, tuck the pelvis before you do anything, and then keep the core in as you drive forward with the glutes. Watch the alignment of your front knee, pull the tummy in nicely. Imagine those 2 slices of bread on either side of your hips, and you're going to lift up, good, and then drive down. Good, and again, we're going to lift up, and slide those slices of bread into the toaster, keeping the hips square. And we come up, good, and we go down, nice. And one last time, we come up, and we press down using that back glute. Using the glute again, we press down 5 times. 5. Deep pulses in your end range. 3, 2, 1, and we hold. 4, 10, lift the arms. 9, shoulders to ears. 8, 7, tummy in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hands down, press back. Straighten through the front leg. Make sure your heel is in line with your hip. Pull the tummy in, squeeze this knee up. Taking the hands down, keep the spine nice and long. Breathe, use your breath here. Take a nice deep breath in, squeeze this quad, squeeze these toes up. When you breathe out, sink. Inhale, and exhale. Breathing in, and breathing out. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Amazing. And coming forward, obviously, if you need to stay longer there, then spend a bit more time there. It's perfectly fine. Lifting up, tucking the pelvis, driving down, keeping the hips square, knee in, lifting that back foot, grabbing it same hand as foot, and once you've got it, sinking the hip to the floor. Make sure your tummy is not releasing here, right? And make sure that you are rotating your body to face as far forward as possible, right? We're going to pull that leg in as much as we can and try roll onto your quad more than your knee if you can handle it. And you're just breathing here for 20 seconds. Nice. Good. Trying to sink through that quad. 19. You can arc up out of your abdominals if you're more advanced. Good. Sink, 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 sink. Nice. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release to come out of it completely. Really nice, guys. Well done. You're doing great. We're going to do one more hip flexor exercise, and then we're going to move on to the hamstrings, and then we're going to go on to splits. All right? So, grabbing a yoga block, and if you don't have a yoga block at home, you can use a really hard book, a thick and hard book, to place under your foot. Right? The block is going to be behind you like so, and you're going to follow along, placing the top of your foot or your ankle onto that block. We're going to go into a lunge again. All of the same rules apply for your lunge, including this front knee and your abs pulling in. We drive down using the glutes. If you need to, you can do a few extra presses here down to the ground, using that glutes to get nice and deep through that hip. Once you feel like you're nice and deep, your hips are square, your tummy is in, you're going to do the following. You want to keep the hip down in its deepest extension, using this glutes. So it should be working really hard to keep low, right? Then you're going to lift only the back knee to straighten through the back leg as much as you can, right? So looking like follows. We're going to hold for 5 seconds times 3 and then switch over to the other side. Staying low with the glutes, squeezing the leg for 5, 4, 3, tummy in, 2, 1, and lower down. And make sure you're not collapsing over yourself here. Body up. Glute presses down, stay even lower. Squeeze, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Good, and one more time. Squeezing into the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Fantastic, good. And coming out. I'd recommend building up to doing 5 times 5 seconds for that exercise, getting progressively lower in that hip as you move through it. Let's repeat it on the other leg. All right, placing your back foot onto those blocks, lunging forward, keeping your body up first, tucking the pelvis, going down. Make sure your hips are square. Pull your tummy in, right? Here we are, ready. The glutes has pressed down a couple times to make sure that hip is at its deepest position with nice glute activation. Right, here we go. We're squeezing only the back knee up. Everything else stays low. Here we go. 4, 5, 4, breathe, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. 2 more. Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. And last one, guys, you've got it. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Fantastic, good. Alrighty, good. As long as you do equal amounts on both sides, you'll be fine. Great, guys. Grab a sip of water if you need to, and you need to grab your TheraBand or yoga strap. You can even use a towel if you have one at home for the hamstring series. All right, so we're going to lie on our backs. The strap is mainly if you need a modification, right? Then you're going to have that on hand. If you don't need one, then you don't have to use it at all. Lying down on your backs like so. We're going to lift one leg up to the ceiling, squeezing the knee nice and straight. So oftentimes people think their legs are straight, but they're actually just not fully extended through their leg. You need to make sure that you're pulling this quad up to get into your full extension. Obviously for your splits, you want to make sure that you are extending through your ankle and keeping those toes nice and pointed, right? You're going to grab your strap if you need to modify here. Make sure you've got some nice resistance. So if your band is really stretchy, just fold it in half and to double that resistance up, right? You're wrapping the strap around your ankle or your calf like this. If you can grab your calf or your ankle without a strap, then by all means work like that. So you're grabbing your leg with or without a strap, whichever modification you want to use. Remember, you're keeping everything nice and straight. This is super simple. What you want to do is push that foot or that leg away from you, resisting with the hands. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you release the push and you pull it towards you, keeping this lower back on the floor. Don't lift your glutes too much. Then you push away again at this new range of motion, pushing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and one more time you pull it in and you hold. If you're more advanced, you can do this with a straight bottom leg, keeping it straight. Otherwise, bent is perfectly fine. Hold for 10 more seconds. 9, 8, keep your knee nice and straight. 6, 5, point those toes. 3, 2, 1, and release. Really nice. Good. Ooh, hamstrings. Okay, we lift the other leg up. Again, extending with the quad, grabbing the leg or wrapping your strap around your calf or your ankle. Grabbing it nicely, pulling a little bit towards you, and then pushing away for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. So I'm feeling activity through the back of my leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pulling in. Keep that lower back down and long on the floor. Now at this new range of motion, pushing again for 10, 9, 8, 7. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull it into hold without a push. Keep that lower back long for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And if you want to advance, bottom leg is out. 3, 2, 1, and release completely. Good. One more hamstring thing, and then we'll do some splits. Leg up. Grab the foot or wrap the strap around, again keeping everything super straight. You're going to pull the leg in as close to you as you can, long lower back, and then you're going to flex, and it's going to feel intense, but you'll be fine. Breathe. Flex the foot, push the heel away. And then point. See if you can pull it closer. Flex, and then point. If you're more advanced, you do this with a straight bottom leg. Flex and hold. 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Squeeze that knee straight. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Nice. Let's switch sides, other side. I know those flexors get quite neural. Do the best that you can. Grab behind your leg or use a strap, right? You're going to pull in as close as you can, keeping that lower back long. Make sure you're not pulling to the side either. You're keeping it in line with your shoulder here or your nipple, right? Pulling, pulling, pulling. Keep the leg straight, and now you're going to flex the foot, push the heel away. Ooh la la, good. And then point. Pull closer. Flex, and then point. Breathe, flex and hold for 20 seconds, holding and pulling that flexed foot towards you. Again, if you want to advance, you're straightening that bottom leg out, but keep it active if you're doing that. Good. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Completely. Well done, guys. Good. All right, sitting up. Again, if you need some water at this point, grab some. We're going to move on to our splits. So you're going to need something that you can slide along the floor with. You might also need 2 blocks just to help you out. I'd encourage you to try and do it without the blocks, at least for the controlled portion of this exercise. But if you really need them, it's totally fine. You can advance to not using them later. Okay, so I'll do it facing forward so you can see. But you'll understand that we're going into a split position, and we're trying to keep the hips really square throughout this exercise. So not letting one hip twist out, because that's not going to get into your deepest flexibility, and it's actually a bit of a cheat that doesn't help you improve at all. Okay? So super, super simple is you're going to have one foot onto whatever you're sliding with, squeezing that knee straight. Your other knee is padded on your mat, right? And then if you want some support, you have one finger on each of your blocks. Otherwise, no fingers at all, and your hands can be here, or here, or here, whatever works for you. All right? You're going to tuck the pelvis so that glute activates to push into your hip, and then you're going to slide down, pulling your tummy in as far as you can, right, in a controlled square position. It might not be your lowest, that's fine. From here, you're going to pulse up 10 times. 10, 9, 8, 7, good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to squeeze all the way up to the top. Good. And coming out. We're going to do the same on the other leg. Again, you're welcome to repeat this exercise 2 or 3 times. It's really good for conditioning that deep square position and keeping it strong, closing the gap between your passive and your active splits. Okay, cool. So leg is extended out, squeeze the knee up. Arms can be wherever you choose. Pull the tummy in, tuck the pelvis, and slide down to whatever position you can control in a square split, not an open split. Okay, and we pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, using that supporting leg. 5, 4, 3, good, 2, and 1, and squeezing all the way up. If you can, drag that leg in, good. Really nice, guys, good, awesome. Repeat it if you're feeling strong. All right, now we're going to go into our splits. Some people prefer going into it with that front leg sliding out. So if you want to, you can do that exactly that. You can just slide the front leg out using whatever you have been sliding with on the floor. In that instance, if you didn't have something you can slide with, or you have a floor that is carpeted, you could have used a foam roller, or you could have moved yourself into your kitchen or your bathroom where you have some tiles or some wood, right? So just see how you need to modify and do that for yourself. For our splits, we have several options. Everyone's going to be working on it at a different level, so modify for yourselves. Level number 1 is just working towards a flat split, which is going to look like this. 2 blocks next to you to keep your body upright. 1 leg forward, right, and you're going to slide out to whichever position you're in. Make sure you're not folding over your leg like this, right? Keep your body stacked up, and this back glute engaged, tummy in. Level number 2 is working your over splits, which you will do with 2 blocks, or 1 block, or 4 blocks under your front leg. You can also do that with a couch or a bed or something a bit higher if you're very advanced. But once you start working those over splits, you really have to watch that your hip is turned forward and not out to cheat to get lower. All right, here we go. You choose your level. I'm going to do a nice normal split with you. I'm going to hold for about a minute, and we're going to do a few things as we hold, and then we'll move on to the other side before we finish. Okay, so body up, tummy in, tuck the pelvis, and then slide into your split position, right? Front leg back, or front leg forward, or back leg back. Tummy is in, you're keeping the body stacked, you're sinking, 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 you're breathing, nice, good. And what I want you to do is do some pulses here, so you're pulsing up like we did in that exercise. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, tummy in, 4, 3, good, 2, and 1, nice, and then sink. This is a little bit harder, but you can do it. Tuck those back toes. I'm going to lift up so you can see it from a different position, but you're tucking those back toes. You're supported with the blocks, and you're going to squeeze into that back leg, keeping the glutes down, using it to drive the hip down, squeezing for 10, 9, tummy in, 8, sink that hip flexor, 4, 3, 2, 1, then release the knee, release the back foot, and sink into your splits. Breathe and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to come out. Nice. Good, we come out of it, and we repeat on the other side. You can wiggle your hips in between. This is the last one we're doing, so do the best you can. Modify for your level, right? Other leg is going to be forward. All right. Wait, did I just do that leg? Make sure you don't do the same one. All right, tuck the pelvis and slide into your position wherever you are, right? Keeping that back glute engaged, keeping the hips square, so not turning out like that. All right, here we're going to do some pulses wherever you are. 10, 9, body is stacked up, tummy is pulled in. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, using the body, not the arms. 1, then sink, 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 tuck the back toes, squeezing into that back knee, driving down with your glutes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release the toes, drop the knee, and sink and hold for 5, 4, breathe, 3, 2, 1, and coming out. Beautiful. Good, guys. Well done. So if you're feeling nice and warm, which you should be, I would recommend doing another split on both sides, progressing to an over split if you are at that level, or doing 2 extra splits on both sides to really get into the depth of your splits at this point. Obviously, just doing what we did is perfect, but if you want to do more and progress a little deeper, more than twice on each side is perfect. Make sure you do your splits 2 to 3 times a week at least if you want to see some really good progress. All of this conditioning is going to help you. Just do the best you can and take some photos or some videos as you go along so you can see how you progress throughout the weeks. I'm really excited for you guys to experience that. Have a lovely day. I hope you enjoyed this class.